Hello, I'm Michael Bradow.
I'm Jeremy Alves.
This is our review of The Mist, 2007, written and directed by Frank Darabont, based on a novel by Stephen King. The Mist is rated R. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes long. It's a horror/thriller/science fiction film. It's available on Prime Video, Apple TV, and Vudu. It had a budget of $18 million and earned $57,470,220 worldwide. Now, the director, Frank Darabont, has previously adapted 2 other Stephen King novels, which are
The Shawshank Redemption from 1995 and The Green Mile from 1999.
which are both excellent adaptations. Yeah. Now, I have the reviews here from Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and Metacritic. Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 72% on the tomato meter. The user rating was 65.
Okay.
IMDb gave it a 7.1, and Metacritic gave them a 58%. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do we want to talk cast?
Sure, let's talk. Alright, so first up we got Thomas Jane.
Who did an excellent job in the movie.
At the end,
Yes. Now, if you haven't seen The Mist, I advise watching it before doing any research on it, or even before continuing to listen to this. Because,
Stop listening.
yeah, we'll probably be discussing the ending, and you don't want that spoiled for you. Trust me.
Seen it?
If you've seen it, keep on listening. Or if you already know the ending, or you just don't care, go ahead. But you should definitely go watch it before anything else. So, but he does a great job throughout the film,
Yeah.
and especially at the ending. He pulls off the emotion so well.
I think this is his most for
Yeah.
me, at least. He does a good job in this.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I know him from personally.
I know
What?
him from Punisher.
Ah,
But if I were to choose any of those, yeah, Punisher.
I think it's great work from him. You know, he plays what's the character's name? He plays
David.
He plays David so well, and you can tell that he truly fell into the role. You know, as much as you can in a movie like that. But he pulled it off extremely well. So next we have Marcia Gay Harden.
She was great.
Yeah, she was. I think it's a testament to how good she was, because she played such a bitch that I wanted to kick her in the teeth. Whereas I'm sure she's not a bitch in real life.
Hopefully not.
But, you know, her character made me want to kick her in the teeth. And I think that is truly a thing to pull off as an actor, is where you can be a totally separate personality on stage or in film than you are in person. Because, for an example, I saw the Broadway musical of The Prom, and one of the actresses in it was supposed to play a homophobic mother. Now, the character, every time I saw the show, I wanted to kick that mother in the face. Like, I wanted to kill her. She's such a bitch. But then I stage door shows, which is where you stick around after the show,
Yeah.
and you meet the cast, and you get their autographs and stuff. And I met her quite a few times, and she was the sweetest fucking person on the face of this earth. She was the sweetest woman ever. And it's hard to believe that her and the character she played were the same person, because of how well she worked as an actress. Yeah, and so Marcia Gay Harden is another prime example of that.
She was also in the year before this, actually. And she was actually in the movie.
She was?
Well, yeah.
I'm assuming she didn't play the main character, considering she's, born in 59.
I don't think she'd been up for the main role. And she was actually in all three. All three of these.
Damn.
Sucks for her.
You know what? Whatever you have to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Nick.
Oh, yeah, I forgot some of the actors you forgot. There's like more than one. And that's one where oh, God.
Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Amanda as a character was great, with all the stuff that she did, caring for Billy and all that.
Yeah.
I think that she was just a nice presence to have on screen. Kind of made you forget how shitty the world of The Mist was for a minute, because she was so caring.
Yeah, I think she
Yeah.
for what she was in.
Yeah.
No tongues.
Yeah. She was also in the X-Files, just, you know, as a note, but I think she did a good job in this film. Next up, we have Andre Braugher.
Oh, he has the same birthday as me.
Oh, shares a birthday with Jeremy. Now, what I know him best from is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he plays a gay police chief. And I think he does a great job, and it's awesome to see his serious side in this movie as compared to his more goofy-ish side on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Even though the character that he plays is extremely serious, but, still, it's still a goofier side, It's nice to see two different sides of the same person, like we were discussing. Next up, we've got our favorite character, Ollie, played by...
Toby.
Yeah.
He kicked ass.
He did.
He kicked ass.
Yeah. Ollie, as a character, was just such a badass. It was insane.
He played Dobby again. I
Yeah.
already mentioned this. Potter's Chamber of Secrets and Part 1.
So, not only was he a badass in this movie, but if you're into Harry Potter, he was the fucking sock boy.
The sock boy.
So yeah, that was the sock boy, And I didn't even know he was British. No, because I didn't hear it in his voice. Granted, I feel like I'm just an idiot for not noticing things like that. But I really like when an actor from a certain dialect can completely shed their natural accent for a role.
Yeah.
But
I think the best one.
yeah.
Thomas.
Next to Thomas Jane, I think he's the best, yeah. Next we have William Sadler, who was in Shawshank, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2.
Oh, so he's worked with Frank Darabont.
Yeah. He's also a theater actor, too. Which is pretty cool, seeing as how I'm more of a Broadway person.
Yeah.
But who did he play again? I think one of the mechanics, right?
Thanks. He was wearing a hat. That's how I remember him. He was wearing a hat.
Well, the hat guys were good. Both of them. So, whichever one William Sadler was, good job. Next we have the old man who got shot. Spoiler for the ending. But, if you didn't leave, like, when we told you to, then you're fucked. So, Jeffrey DeMunn, who's also a Broadway actor as well. He's one of Frank Darabont's favorite actors.
Now I think about it. I think was he in Shawshank? I don't know if he was in Shawshank.
Maybe. Why don't we Google that?
No, Green Mile. No, he wasn't the Shawshank too.
Green Mile and Shawshank, yeah, he was in both of them.
And then he came back with The Mist.
Came back with The Mist, yeah. He didn't have a lot to do in the film, so you can't really judge much. But, I think the fact that he's one of Frank Darabont's favorite actors, is just a test to why he was a movie,
Apparently he worked a lot with him.
Yeah. Next we have Frances Sternhagen.
She sounds German.
Yeah, her father's side is German. She's
the one who punched,
Yeah, she punched Marcia Gay Harden in the face for being a religious nut. She's also a theater actress, which is nice. She didn't do much other than
punch her in the face.
Other than like throw peas at Marcia Gay Harden, basically.
Yeah.
So there's really not much to say about her, but for what it's worth, she did a good job. I feel like everyone did a good job.
They all did. We got
Nathan Gamble.
He played Billy.
Billy! He was in The Dark Knight, Dolphin Tale 2, and Bones. And Marley and Me, yeah. And I said this in the Tusk episode, but kid actors, some of the best actors, when they can be controlled.
And then some of them just...
Yeah, and then some of them suck. Like, no offense to children.
They're a child.
Yeah. It's not right to judge a child the same way you judge an adult.
Yeah.
So there's different levels of judging, but he did it very well for a child actor, especially with what he was given. Yeah, especially at the end. Like, you can see the scaredness in his eyes when he looks at David. And then the final person we have is
French.
French actress, Alexa Davalos. I don't even know if she's French, but she was born in France. Born to Americans, so that's the fun thing right there. She wasn't in this much. Yeah, she died pretty quickly not super quickly, but quick enough to where you kind of forget her character's there. Yeah. So there's not much to say about her, but moving on.
It's actually talk.
Yeah. Do you want to discuss
what I thought of it? Overall?
Like a quick synopsis, like I did last. Maybe not like the same length, because I'm gonna work on that.
So
shortening it.
What I thought of it.
Yeah. Did you cover what you thought?
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Not great because of some of the special effects.
Yeah.
But they were not horrible.
No. They work.
They work.
But they could have been better, especially if they were practical.
Yeah.
Like we're such sticklers for practical effects, you and I.
I didn't talk about this much. The story, it's not really that original, which, again, it's a novel. I'm pretty sure, I never read the novel, but I'm sure it's good. While I was watching it, I couldn't help but think of Night of the Living Dead. The plot, it's sort of being trapped inside a house with zombies outside, argue, fight, but they have to wait to survive. That's basically the mist inside, and
instead of zombies, it's fog and hentai beasts.
And it didn't make bad. I thought it was good. I liked it was acting. Some of the special effects were bad, except the CGI. I mean, with the practical or
the practical effects in the one scene, because it's really only in the one scene.
Yeah, that's it.
That was some of the. I think that was like the best. Like the best special effect in the whole film. And then the only other thing that really impressed me was the little bugs, which even they weren't great, but for being CGI they looked good, which it doesn't always.
And then especially at the end, it just hits you with awful, tragic. This makes the whole movie. For me, the ending.
Yeah.
And yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I feel like without the ending, it wouldn't be as well renowned as it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's an all right movie. Except for the ending. Like, the ending really bumps it up there.
Yeah.
Because,
For sure.
what the fuck are you gonna do when it comes to that?
Yeah.
It's
movie? Oh my
yeah,
God.
and it's widely regarded as one of the saddest.
And darkest.
Yeah. I think that the music by Mark Isham,
especially at the end,
really ties it all together.
Oh my God.
And what I can really respect is at the ending, at that really emotional part, there is no music playing behind it.
Thomas Jane is just screaming his head off.
Yeah, because from the look, like the silent agreement till the military shows up, it's silent, like no music, because it really accentuates the screaming and the gunshots, and it just makes it hit so much harder. The fact that there's nothing backing it.
And obviously it's not realistic, but and how they react is realistic.
The way that people reacted to the situation was extremely realistic. You had the non-believers, you had the religious buffs, you had the people who were scared, rightfully so. You had the people who were willing to risk their lives to save others. It's a very realistic scenario. Realistic reactions to a bullshit scenario.
Yeah. Then again,
it's kind of kind of related. Yeah. I wouldn't say we're stuck with the mist, but we are stuck inside, and there are people who don't believe in it. There are people who
don't give a fuck.
Are willing to risk their lives to save others. Thank you, essential workers. So I feel like unintentionally our first two movies were amazing picks, because our first pick was our first podcast, and it was a podcast idea, and then this one relates to the time that we're in right now, filming it. I mean, him and I, we are not even like sitting next to each other. We're sitting a full table length apart, with the mic in the middle of the table, because we want to maintain social distancing.
Get away from me.
But another thing that I really enjoyed was the camera work.
Yeah, shot like sort of like The Office.
Yeah, the feeling of like it's constantly moving.
It sounds like someone's actually there recording what's happening.
Yeah, it's not like
it's not
found footage.
Not found footage.
No, but it feels
like a documentary. I wouldn't say documentary, but like I don't know how to call it. It's just shot like Parks and Rec like that.
So I think Ron Schmidt's cinematography was fantastic.
Yeah, I think he
it was the film was edited by Hunter M. Villa. I think the editing choices were good. You know, like the different shots and all that kind of stuff. You know, they really keep you, and like they keep you entertained, or not entertained, but they keep you interested. You know, because people have short attention spans. But when things are constantly going on like that, or camera angles are shifting, it keeps you focused. And I really like the editing choices in that, because they're not like it's not switching just to switch.
Yeah.
It's switching to show a different character's emotion.
Yeah.
You know? But his editing was good.
Okay.
Production design by Gregory S. Melton.
I want average.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not.
Okay, that was good, but
There's not much you can do. Yeah, there's not.
But then again, that's part of the story, so you can't really blame them. But they did their best.
They did their best with what they were given, which you gotta respect. Set design by Raymond Pomelia.
What they worked with.
Yeah, they worked with what they were given. The supermarket, the pharmacy, and the Drayton's house.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 locations you see.
Yeah.
Other than
really
David's car.
Other than just the mist.
Yeah, because the mist encompasses everything. You don't see anything but those places. And so I think
just stuck in there.
I think with what little set design you can have there, it works.
Yeah.
It came across very well.
Yeah.
You know? Costume design. Yeah, it was, you know, there's
nothing to comment about.
Yeah, it's nothing to comment about, but I still want to give credit to the person in charge of costume design, which is Giovanna Ottobre Melton. You know, again, there's not much you can do costume-wise. They're regular people. You know, the mechanics are wearing their coveralls. The supermarket employees are wearing their aprons. Yeah. You know, Billy's wearing like a t-shirt. Yeah. So there's not a lot to do with costume, but still, it's good to pay respect. It's good to, you know, respect the people who put in their time and effort. So, you know. But other than that, the a quick summary, and this one I promise is quick. Unlike
please, and there's nothing really to like brag about here.
Yeah, unlike the last one, but in this one, it basically opens on the Drayton family during a hurricane. So they go downstairs and a tree falls through their house. Then they come the next morning and they see that a tree has also smashed their neighbor's boathouse. So the son, the father, and the neighbor go into town to go to the supermarket because they're worried another hurricane might hit. So they want to stock up on supplies. And while they're there, they get stuck inside the supermarket because a large mist has rolled into town.
That's where the movie starts.
Yeah. And so the entire movie takes place within the supermarket. Yeah.
And then when the bugs from the mist start coming, they start breaking in.
They start breaking through the window and attacking people.
And then everyone's just fighting for lives. Some people are just crying.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. The movie doesn't care about where the mist from. It just happens.
Exactly.
Which I like. Sometimes in movies it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Mystery works.
This works.
Sometimes.
This works.
And this is one of
you don't care about why the mystery or why is that. You want to see these people, the ones you kill.
Yeah. During the because of the mist, there are people who, like Mrs. Carmody, are like, this is the end of days as talked about in the Bible. Just instead of hellfire, it's a mist.
A fog.
Yeah.
With bugs.
Which her theory is supported when a bug comes up to her and she starts praying and it leaves her alone.
Yeah.
So there are people who are listening to her, worshiping her as like a priest, basically. And then there are people like David who want to get out of there. He wants to go home to his wife and make sure she's okay. And there are people who want to just get out of there, go back to their house.
Yeah.
There are people who don't give a fuck. And then there are sacrifices as well. And during the fight with the bugs, a soldier gets burnt alive. He did it to himself, but he gets burnt alive. And so...
Don't act like Thomas Jane. Don't try to do what Thomas Jane does.
Exactly, because you're not Thomas Jane. You're gonna fuck up. But so David and his guys go to the pharmacy next door to try and get medicine to help this guy, and they meet some military personnel who have been, hurt and nearly killed by the mist, and get told what happened essentially. And then when they get back to the supermarket, everyone's like, why the fuck did you leave? What are you doing? And their entire trip was in vain because the man ends up dying. But then you get to see the reactions of people, because there are suicides. There are, people who... people sacrificing other people. Them fighting over Billy as a sacrifice.
Get the boy!
Get the boy!
Take it!
There are people who believed in David's cause, and then they switch over to Carmody. So you get to see realistic portrayals of people's emotions in this kind of situation. But then David and his guys end up getting out of the store. And that's when the ending hits hard.
And you want a non-spoiler?
I feel like it's worth saying. If you don't want this part spoiled for you, then I'd say stop listening. But if you're still here, it hits so hard because they drive until they run out of gas. David finds out that his wife is dead.
Yeah.
And they
doesn't even know it.
Yeah, and they keep driving, and they have an empty tank. Thomas has a gun, or Thomas Jane has a gun with 4 bullets. And there are 5 people in the car. The old man, the old woman, Amanda, and Billy, and then Thomas Jane.
I like how we call him Thomas Jane.
Yeah, but he decides that he will figure out something on his own. And Billy's asleep when they're making this decision. They're all in agreement that he's going to shoot them all and then step out into the mist and sacrifice himself.
And then it gets worse.
Billy wakes up and looks at his father. And then it cuts to an outside shot of the car. Silence. And then 4 gunshots.
And then Thomas Jane.
Yeah, and then you hear him scream, and you see the anguish in him. And it's so heart-wrenching. It's a very heart-wrenching scene.
And then it gets worse.
And it gets even worse because he steps out of the car,
expecting to get
and
killed.
he starts slamming on the car and screaming, "Come and get me!" Fucking, I'm ready for this. Like, just fucking
do it.
end it. Like, I can't go on. Then the military shows up. He killed the 4 of them, including his own son, in order to save them from the mist. And then
that's just where it hit.
And then he gets saved by the military. And then the movie ends. But so that's like
better than the book ending.
Yeah, that's a quick synopsis. Well, in the book, they just kind of drive until they run out of gas, and then it ends.
Yeah.
Like the book ends. But with this, it really hits hard, and it's very beautiful, very sad, but very beautiful.
Dark.
Yeah, dark. So that's a quick synopsis of it all. If you're skimming through because you wanted to skip that ending bit, you can come back now. But
already left.
Or
I'm into the mist.
So now, do we want to do our report card?
Sure, let's do it.
Camera work.
Give that probably an A.
I like the filming style, so I'm gonna give that an A as well. Effects. In general, I think I'm gonna give it like a C plus. I'm gonna give it a C plus because the CGI.
It's not.
It's not horrible.
It could be worse.
It could be much worse, but it wasn't
so, yeah, just
the greatest. So I'm giving it a C+. The best part in all the effects is when they go to the pharmacy and they meet the military personnel, and the guy, his chest bursts open.
I think that was the neighbor.
No, that wasn't the neighbor.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that was military personnel.
Oh, I thought it was.
But his chest bursts open, and that's like the best use. That's the best special effects in the movie to me, and it's practical. And then it's immediately ruined with CGI spiders crawling out of him.
Little tiny.
Yeah, but so acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are part Thomas.
A.
James,
It was.
especially at the. I even had. He played like a lot.
Yeah.
Trying to survive.
Just trying to protect his son.
He just fucking nails it.
You can see that he's in pain.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even acting at that point. He's just in pain.
And then as
Mrs. Carmody.
Yeah,
she really pulls off the religious nut, or just like her whole character beat.
Yeah.
So major props to all the actors. Billy does a good job. He doesn't say much, but he does a good job.
Yeah, but he doesn't even have to say it in his face.
Yeah.
That's it.
The only line I really remember from Billy is "Daddy, don't."
Daddy, don't.
Because Thomas Jane is reaching for a gun as a giant mist bug is coming up for him. Yeah, near the end.
Right before they go off.
Yeah, right before the drive in.
Before Ollie dies.
Yeah.
After
Ollie
Ollie dies.
dies. Unfortunately.
He does good too.
Yeah.
Toby Jones.
Yeah.
He does good.
Toby Jones was a good part of the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed all the bits where he was on screen. Yeah, A. I agree.
Should have went to the Academy Awards, but
Yeah.
obviously not. I think Shawshank Redemption did, but now I'm getting off topic.
So here's one that I think we'll both agree is like an A+. Ending.
Oh god, for sure.
The ending definitely gets an A+ for me. It just so
It's just
hard hitting. Yeah.
And for a horror movie, you don't get that here.
Yeah.
But in this case,
But in this one, you get to feel.
it hurts.
Yeah. So ending
Not that
A+.
we cried or anything.
No,
but-
we didn't cry, but still, you feel the pain in your chest. Because even me, I'm an emotional sack of shit.
Well, okay.
But like, I cried at Onward, and I didn't cry at this, but like I felt my heart pull. Anything else you want to grade on?
I think we said all we can, dude.
Yeah.
It should another good Stephen King adaptation.
So I think overall, I'd give it like a B+, A-. It was.
Again, no A just for the story. It's being a little simple.
Yeah, it was simple.
Special effects. Oh yeah, simple story. Simple.
Yeah.
They're just trying to survive.
The story is like a C,
Simple,
but
not special. But
yeah.
Stephen King, he did good.
Stephen King is just a phenomenal writer.
And then the special effects brought it down to
Yeah.
So not great, but good.
So
good entertainment.
I'm thinking B+, A- ish for me, because it was one of the better movies that I've seen, even if it was a little bad in the story.
Some places,
yeah,
but not too bad where it's not going to be entertaining. It's entertaining.
It's entertaining. It's good for what it is, especially for 2007 and stuff like that.
Darabont pulled it off.
Yeah.
I don't know, out of all the directors, he just pulled it off.
Yeah.
He's done Shawshank.
Yeah.
He can do another Stephen King.
I trust Frank Darabont to do King adaptations.
Or Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner did Stand By Me. He did more than one Stephen King adaptation. He's either Rob Reiner or Frank Darabont.
So the two of them, they're the only ones who are allowed to make adaptations.
Stephen King movies?
Yeah. Speak.
Oh, okay.
Now we can, because I'm gonna cut that clip out.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, I only trust Rob Reiner and Frank Darabont.
yeah,
with Stephen King movies.
I haven't seen Stand By Me or Shawshank or anything like that. But from Misery and The Mist, two movies that I've seen, I can trust them both with King properties because they're both great movies.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Which King doesn't really like a lot of his adaptations.
Yeah.
Like, when The Shining came out, he
fucking hated it.
he hated it.
He fucked it up.
He was so upset with Stanley Kubrick.
And Stanley Kubrick's a great director.
Yeah.
A great director.
And so he was so upset about it. And then for him to come up to Frank Darabont and say, your ending scared me. Like, you gotta give props to the movie that made Stephen King be like, shit, it was better than my novel. And it was based on my novel.
In chapter 2, he acknowledges that his endings suck.
Yeah.
And he makes a cameo.
You know what? Off topic, but still Stephen King. When are they gonna make an It movie with the gangbang scene?
Oh my god. Stop. Please don't. Don't.
Yeah, no, you'd go to jail immediately.
Don't. Oh my god. Imagine what the director has to tell the kids.
Well, I feel like because they were all teenagers, the kids in the movie.
Preteens.
Yeah, preteens, 12, 13-ish, 14, around there. But I'm sure a lot of them understood, a lot of what they were...
What they were getting themselves into.
Yeah. Like Finn Wolfhard and stuff.
Yeah, I love him.
He's good.
Him. But that's for another review.
Yeah, that's for another review.
Not the next one, but...
Yeah, no, not the next
hopefully we'll get to that.
Yeah, hopefully.
I would love to get that.
I know that It 2017 is on Hulu,
I think.
which I have. I don't think that Chapter 2 is on there, though.
Chapter 2, not that, even though it's not a full year since it's been out yet, but it's still
Yeah.
2019, September 2019. We're getting it.
You know what we should review? Scoop.
Oh my god. No. First we gotta review. Scooby-Doo from 2000. The live action
yeah.
one. Oh,
Like Zoink Scoob, you made me use 2% of my power.
No.
I only
Shaggy.
used 2% of my power and I brought back a Shaggy meme. Like Zoinks.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was really off topic. Unless Stephen King writes something with a dog. Oh wait, he did.
Cujo.
Yeah.
That could be a movie we cover.
I wouldn't mind.
I really
That's
just...
another one with a good...
Yeah.
I forgot his name though. But
I just really enjoy Stephen King, as a writer.
Even some of his... Not a few of them.
It's not always King's fault that the movies don't work, though.
The only one that's his fault... It's nothing. It's him. What, I think he did the screenplay for something.
Yeah.
He did the screen. He wrote it himself. So, but that's not hated. That's
No, that was... I thoroughly
For me,
enjoyed that.
I'm
Yeah, but... Well, anyways, if we don't have anything else to say about The Mist...
It's just good.
It's a good viewing
horror,
experience.
Good horror movie.
It's a good horror movie, yeah.
One by Stephen King.
It's a really emotional ending, so you might want to prepare yourself for that.
I say it, but it is Steve. No. Actually, no. Green Mile.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Green Mile sad.
Just in general, Stephen King, and the fact that it wasn't even his ending, it's mind-boggling.
I was just mind.
Yeah, but major respect for Frank Darabont for pulling off this film as well as he did. Even if we gave it a B, he
still has other great ones. He mentioned so many damn times.
At least we didn't give it like a D,
Yeah, like a Tusk.
But if we're out of things to say, this was Bradow's Blockbusters, our review of The Mist.
Good movie.
A great movie, yeah. So I'm Michael Bradow.
I'm Jeremy Alves.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.